One life saved in exchange for a lifetime of fate. The woodcutter never expected that the wounded fox he bandaged would return as a beautiful girl and call him husband. That morning, the sky was gloomy. The clouds were heavy as if signaling that the jungle rain was coming. The woodcutter Ann, with a basket on his shoulder and an axe in his hand, walked into the forest to find firewood. Although poor, Ann always kept a gentle smile, because at home he had an old sick mother, so he had to try hard every day. The road that day was strange. The forest was unusually deserted, no birds chirping, only the sound of the wind whistling through the leaves. After walking a distance, Ann stopped. A faint fishy smell lingered in the air. He strained his ears and heard a faint groan, like the sound of a dying animal, and followed the sound, parted some bushes and saw a white fox was lying curled up, its front paws stuck in a bleeding iron trap. Its fur was strangely white, its pale yellow eyes half opened in despair. And sighed, who would set such a cruel trap? Although he knew that touching a wild animal could lead to an attack, he still carefully removed the trap. The metal clanged kang, fresh blood oozed out, causing the fox to jerk violently in pain. But it did not bite, only looked at Ann with a strange gaze, as if it understood, and tore off a piece of his shirt and bandaged it. His hand gently touched the soft fur. The white fox trembled slightly, but did not resist. The rain in the forest began to fall heavily, and found a hollow in the rock and temporarily covered it. He gathered dry wood and lit a fire, drying the shirt and keeping the fox warm. The whole forest was silent at that moment. Only the flickering firelight reflected on the white fur, and said softly, "Hold on, when the weather clears, I will take you down the mountain." The fox tilted its head slightly, looking at him for a long time, its eyes filled with gratitude and sadness. Night fell, the cold wind blew, and watched the fire and fell asleep tiredly. In a hazy moment, he felt a pair of slender hands covering his body. He immediately opened his eyes but only saw the fox lying there, its golden eyes still looking at him. "I must be dreaming," and thought to himself. Little did he know that while he was sleeping, the shadow of a girl in white had appeared, looking at him with emotion, then turned into a fox. The next morning, the sun was shining, and took the fox to the edge of the forest and released it back into the wild. He bent down and patted its head. "Go, don't get caught again. Go, don't get caught again." The fox took a few steps and then turned back, as if hesitating. It raised its head and looked deeply at Ann. Its eyes seemed to want to remember his face. Then it turned away, disappearing into the forest. And didn't know that, from that moment, a fateful encounter had begun. And the girl who would enter his life was that white fox. 3 days after saving the white fox, Ann's life was as normal as usual. But there was one strange thing. The house always smelled of herbs, as if someone was silently taking care of his old mother for him. One afternoon, when Ann returned from the forest, he was stunned. In front of the simple thatched house, a young girl in a white shirt was sweeping the yard, her long hair swaying in the wind. Hearing footsteps, she turned around. A delicate face, clear eyes, like the white fox's eyes when she looked at him the other day, and was startled. "Who are you?" The girl smiled gently. "I am Han Lai. I got lost in the forest and saw that the old man was sick, so I stopped to help. Please don't blame me." Her voice was as light as the wind, but there was something about it that was different from a normal person. Too calm, too clear. And hesitated but quickly thanked, because since his mother became seriously ill, no one was willing to help a poor family like them. That evening, Han Lai cooked medicinal porridge for Ann's mother, and stood on the porch and looked in, feeling that this girl was very familiar, but he didn't know where he knew her from. Night fell, and lay on the bamboo bed, and Han Lai asked to sleep in the corner of the kitchen. The wind blew, making the door shake, and opened his eyes and looked towards the kitchen. Hanlai sat with her back turned, her hair down, but the shadow on the wall was not a human shadow. It had the shape of a fox with pointed ears, and jumped up, her heart pounding. The girl turned back, her eyes still gentle, but deep within them was a hint of sadness. "Did you see it?" Her voice was low, mixed with a bit of fear, and instinctively gripped the axe but did not move forward. "You aren't human?" Hanli pursed her lips, then quietly lowered her head. In the moonlight, her silhouette gradually changed, fox ears sticking out, a faint white tail behind. Not a ferocious demon, but a beautiful fox spirit with a figure as fragile as thin mist. "Yes, I am the white fox you saved in the forest. If it weren't for you, I would have died. So, I came to repay you," and took a step back, but not out of fear. He was just surprised. She looked at him, her golden eyes sparkling. "I won't hurt you. I just want to take care of you and Mother. And when you chase me away, I'll leave." The voice was so sad that it made Anne's heart sink. Suddenly, a long wolf howl was heard outside. Anne's mother coughed violently. Hanlai ran over and pressed her warm hand against her chest. A light stream of light radiated out. The coughing gradually subsided, and looked at the scene, his heart filled with indescribable emotions, both gratitude and pity for the girl, or goblin, who was devoting herself to her family. "You didn't hurt anyone, did you?" "No. Ever since I started cultivating, I've only wanted to live in peace. But the person who set the trap for me won't leave me alone," and frowned. "Who is it?" Hanlai looked up, his eyes cold. "Black Fox, he's looking for you, and he'll come here." Those words made him shiver, but he looked at her, his eyes yearning for trust. "You stay. I won't chase you away." She was stunned, then smiled lightly like a wild flower blooming in the night. That night, for the first time, and realized something very strange was brewing in her heart. In the days after learning Hanlai's true identity, and still let her stay, she took care of his mother with herbs, taught him a few ways to identify poisonous forest plants, useful for foresters. Although he was still worried, every time he saw her sad, cloud-like eyes, and could not bear to doubt. But the feeling of being watched kept growing. That evening, the villagers flocked to the village chief's house. Some lost their chickens. Some saw their rice being chewed to pieces. Some even saw a dark shadow passing over the roof. All had the same rumor. A monster has just returned to the mountain, and felt a chill down his spine. Hanlai sat next to him, his hand gently tightening the corner of his shirt. His face paled slightly, just a little, but enough for Anne to notice. When everyone dispersed, Anne asked softly, "Is it the person you mentioned?" Hanlai nodded slightly, her voice trembling slightly. "Black Fox. He found his way here. That night, the wind was fierce. Dark clouds rolled down as if to press the whole village into darkness, and was still boiling medicine for his mother when the door opened. A cold wind rushed in. Outside, in the middle of the empty yard, a tall black figure with 9 vague tails stood motionless. Its eyes were red like burning coals. "Black Fox," he spoke in a hoarse voice. "Han Li, how long do you think you can hide?" And immediately blocked the door, holding an axe in his hand. "If you want to get in, you have to step over my dead body." Black Fox's eyes swept over the small person who dared to stand in front of him. He laughed, a cold laugh. "A mortal like you dares to protect a demon? Let me guess. You like it, right?" And did not reply, but the axe grip in his hand spoke for him. Behind him, Hanlai stepped out, her hair loose, her eyes determined. "Black Fox, you are a traitor. Master forbade the use of evil magic, yet you still practiced it, and even wanted to suck my soul to increase your cultivation. I will never go with you." Black Fox roared. Black Fox roared. Shut up! I gave you the path to becoming an immortal, and you chose this mortal. He waved his hand, and a stream of black demonic energy shot straight towards Anne. Hanlai rushed to shield Anne. The demonic energy hit her, causing her to spit blood. Her body trembled. Her spiritual power was clearly weakened, and shouted, "Lie! What are you doing?" Hanlai staggered, but still held Anne's hand tightly. Don't go near him. The demonic energy will kill you." She stood in front of Anne like a living shield. Black Fox stepped forward, his hand reaching out as if to pull her back. "Follow me, and you will live. If you cling to this mortal, you will die." Hanli raised his head, his golden eyes shining like a knife. "I would rather die than live in your hands." Black Fox went crazy. The air around him swirled violently, forming a black abyss of wind. "Okay, then I'll kill him first, and then you'll know who to choose." He launched a second attack, this time aimed straight at Anne's heart. In that moment, with just one breath, Anne thought she was finished. But no. Hanlai used all her remaining spiritual power to create a shield, and a white light burst out. She was sent flying, rolling on the ground, her breath ragged, and ran over in panic. "Hanlai, come on, don't close your eyes." Black Fox looked at that scene and smiled cruelly. "So you really chose to die for him? Good. I'll take care of both of you." He started to gather his demonic energy again. His attack was twice as strong, and stood in front of Hanlai, holding an axe, but he knew a human like him was not strong enough to resist. Just as Black Fox was about to strike the finishing blow, the moonlight was obscured by clouds. The sky was pitch black. Hanli weakly grabbed Anne's sleeve, whispering, "If you live, remember, I never wanted to leave you." Just as the attack was about to land, white light burst from Hanli's body. She was using a forbidden technique, a self-destructing talisman to protect the person she loved. The ground shook. The wind swirled suffocatingly. The Black Fox was pushed back several steps. The white light from Hanlai's forbidden technique flared up violently. The entire courtyard seemed to shake. The ground and rocks cracked into pieces, and was thrown back, hitting his back against the wooden wall. It hurt, but he still struggled to get up, his eyes not leaving Hanlai, who was standing in the center of the storm. Her body was glowing, but streaks of red blood ran down her arms. The forbidden technique was gradually burning her spiritual power and life force. Black Fox was momentarily surprised when he was pushed back. The 9 tails behind him spread out, waving vigorously, roaring. "You dare to use forbidden's magic? Hanli, do you really want to die?" Hanli gasped. His golden eyes seemed to be about to go out. "As long as I can protect him, I'm not afraid of death." Black Fox laughed crazily. "Protecting a weak mortal? You're so stupid." He waved his hand, summoning a black demonic aura twice as strong as before, piercing through the white light. Hanli's mouth bled. The light around her shook violently, seeing her about to collapse, and could no longer bear it. He threw the axe aside and rushed to hug her, letting the demonic energy pierce his skin, causing him to feel as if he was being burned. "Lie! Stop! The forbidden's technique will kill you." Hanlai grabbed his shirt, her voice hoarse and broken. "You get out of the way. His demonic energy will destroy you. I won't avoid it. If you die, what's the point of me living?" That sentence made Hanlai stunned. Her eyes, for the first time, trembled with happiness mixed with despair. Black Fox was impatient. He shouted loudly, "Then I will kill both of you." His 9 tails whirled into a tornado, creating a sure kill attack. Just as the attack was about to land, Hanli pushed him back, his whole body trembling. "Anne, you must live. Don't come here." But Anne still rushed forward. He used his mortal body to shield her. The demonic energy whipped at his back like 1,000 blades. He gritted his teeth, but still stood firm. Black Fox roared, "You fool! You are immortal, how can you bear it?" But Anne did not retreat half a step. "If I have to die, I will die to protect the one who protected me." Those words were like a knife piercing straight into Han Lai's heart. At that moment, when Anne was about to be pierced by the attack, Han Li used all of his remaining cultivation, shooting out an extremely strong white light that enveloped him. An explosive sound. The white light spread out like a tsunami. Everything was engulfed in the roar of wind and the shattering of rocks. When the light dissipated, Black Fox was sent flying, struggling. Half of his demonic power was burned away. He looked at Han Li, who was kneeling down, almost powerless, his white hair mixed with blood. "You dare to destroy your own cultivation? For a mortal?" His voice was lost in panic and hatred. Han Lai collapsed in Anne's arms. Her body had returned to the shape of a white fox, but small, weak. Her breath was only fragile, and lifted her up, choking. "Lai, don't sleep. You haven't told me everything yet." The white fox opened her eyes, her golden eyes fading. I don't regret choosing you." She tried to rub her nose against his hand, as if for the last time. "If, in the next life we have fate, I want to be your wife." After saying that, her eyes closed. Her body glowed and turned into a fox pearl, a spirit pearl, rolling into Anne's palm, and hugged the pearl to her chest, crying like she had never cried before. "Lai, don't leave me. I beg you." Black Fox's laughter rang out weakly. "It's not dead, but it's not alive either, if you want to save it. You have to pay a price. Do you dare?" He left behind a meaningful sentence and disappeared into the night, as if he had never appeared, and hugged the faintly glowing spirit crystal, watching, his eyes bloodshot. "I will save Lai, even if it means giving up my life," and finally found a way to save Han Lai. He accepted to trade 10 years of his life to save Han Lai. Finally touched the heavens, Han Lai was resurrected. The two people were extremely happy. One night when the moon hung high like a silver crescent on the mountaintop, Ho Yen sat by the lake, her reflection shimmering. She spoke softly, her voice choked. "The fate between you and me is about to end," and was speechless. Han Lai said that in her previous life, she was a little fox who was saved from a hunter's trap by Nan, who was then a young boy in a temple. She owed him a debt of gratitude that she could not repay, so she had to secretly cultivate for hundreds of years, just to be able to be by his side one day. But the fate between a human and a demon could not last forever. The battle with the evil demon had depleted more than half of her spiritual power. Han Lai said, "I only have one time to use all my magic power, to exchange for one last wish." Nan looked at her, his heart aching. "What is that wish?" Han Lai cried. "That you live in peace, even though you are no longer by my side." That night, the mountain wind howled. Han Lai held Anne's hand tightly. White light surrounded her body. She whispered, "Being your wife in this life is the sweetest thing in my life as a fox," and burst into tears, hugging her tightly. "If you disappear, how can I live?" Han Lai smiled gently. "Karma must be paid. I am just someone who came to fulfill my previous life. I cannot stay forever." The light grew stronger. Han Lai gradually disintegrated into pieces of white spirit light, then disappeared in Anne's arms. No more calling husband, no more white shirt running on the mountainside. Only Anne remained, hugging the void, screaming in pain, and returned to the forest to chop wood, living quietly like before he met her. But every night, he always felt a warm breeze brushing past his neck, just like Han Lai's breath. One day, in front of the house, there was a baby wrapped in a white silk scarf, with golden eyes just like hers. Beside it was a red maple leaf, on which was engraved the words, "And I cannot stay, but my love for you turned into this life. Please stay by my side instead of me. and was stunned. He held the child in his arms, tears falling continuously. He named the child Natlai, meaning the light that Hanlai left in his life. The child grew up quickly and could sometimes hear the voices of wild animals. Every time An looked at his child, he knew that Hanlai was always around them, watching from somewhere. The woodcutter of that day was no longer alone, and the cause and effect were also completely closed. He saved her once, gives she saved him for a lifetime. She was grateful, gives she turned into a demon to repay the favor. The fate was predestined, gives even though they were separated. Love still turned into rebirth. If you love stories of cause and effect, retribution, touching like this, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the latest episodes.